Entrepreneurship can be really hard. And when you're doing it by yourself, trying to navigate the terrain, it can almost be impossible. That's why we created the Entrepreneur Circle. Every episode, you're going to hear from incredible entrepreneurs who are in the same trenches that you are in. And we're going to talk through what's working, what's not working, whether it be in marketing, finance, or anything in between. We're here to talk business and figure out how each of us can rise together. So welcome to the circle. Let's dig in. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Circle. I am your host, Paresa Noble, and I am so excited about today's episode because I have the queen here. You guys, I think you're in for a real treat. Shamina Taylor, she is a former attorney turned wealth consciousness mentor. She's a best-selling author, mommy of two, and she's the host of the top-rated podcast, the Unapologetically Rich Show, which is just booming. You guys have to tune into that to get more from her. But I think what we're really going to dig into today is how you can level up your business, because Shamina has worked with a lot of people, right? But she has turned 51 people, women, into millionaires over the course of her career. Multi-millionaires. So we are sitting with an absolute legend. I'm so excited that you're here, Shamina. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yes. Oh, there's so much to dig into. I feel like the perfect place to start, where I start with everybody, is first your story, because I think as all of us go through this journey of building a business, building a brand, we have different points in that timeline that we start to feel the momentum. It might be a realization, an aha moment, something that kind of, illuminates the path forward, and it's different for everybody. So maybe we can start there. From when you left being an attorney, personal injury, I should say. I know a few friends who were personal injury and pivoted. So when you left that and started your mentorship and coaching, talk us through how that felt, what it was like, and where you really started to see the shift.
Okay. Everybody always asks this question. How did a lawyer become what she's doing now? And honestly, I started my career in personal injury, but actually ended it with in real estate. I was a real estate attorney. So I'm going to give you the abbreviated version of it because there is a long story and you guys can always listen to it later on. However, every one of us has this moment in life where we have this pivotal moment where everything changes. And that happened for me on January 9th, 2013. I had just finished a bodybuilding competition. I was doing figure. My girlfriend at the time was getting recorded for some B-roll to be on TV, and I wanted to be on TV. I had only done yoga probably 3 times in my life. And I was on this yoga mat and she was talking, and I was there to win and compete for yoga. That's not what you do, but that's what I was doing there. Type of woman I was very much A-type, control freak, perfectionist. I was, not someone who is very present. I was very much a doer. And as she was talking, and she's like, are you happy? And I'm putting one leg one way, my other leg the other way. And I'm holding on to this thing, this quirky thing for dear life, because no pain, no gain. And I'm willing to win. Right. But then this pain came over my body, and it was physical, and it turned into emotional pain. And I just started crying and releasing. And for the first time in my life, I was sitting there going, I don't know who Shamina is anymore. I mean, I had everything they told you to have, that what success meant, which is, your careers, your body, being married, 2 kids, and going to Europe in the, summertime, and going to the Caribbean in the winter. Like, I had all the riches and the wealth. And yet in this moment, when she's asking, are you happy? I felt so unfulfilled. And I realized that I was just holding on by a dear thread, and everything collapsed. And that moment was literally there was a before and after from that moment. I came home a month later. I talked to my husband, and he ended up moving out, which is crazy because I had no family where I was. And I went on a deep spiritual journey for 3.5 years of trying to figure out who I am. I did end up getting divorced. I literally left everything behind except my kids and my house. Something was calling to me saying I had a bigger purpose in this life. And I didn't know. Maybe that was a moment where they're like, wake up, and I realized I had a lot of unresolved trauma from childhood that just had compounded throughout life. And I entered my marriage with it. And that is where most high performers and high achievers and A-types come from, and women who are in their masculine, just like me. And we were in survival state, and we were creating, but it's not actually something sustainable. At some point you have a breakdown. So 3.5 years, I went through this really deep monk mode, I call it, got rid of everything. And I just started healing myself. I'm like, something had to go really wrong in my life for me to be in this state. So, the layers were peeling back. I actually threw money away. I was like, I don't want money. But I was like, money was the root of all evil. I don't want money. I was like, money's the reason why I wasn't successful. I didn't understand as I was going through this. And then one point I realized as I shifted my consciousness and I started healing, I started having more of awareness I couldn't see before. And I'm like, money's just an energy. It's just a tool. And how can I use it to propel me to the next level? So as I was going through this healing journey, the online space opened up and all of a sudden this came and I was like, okay, maybe I need to go here. And I was following something that was not tangible. It was intangible. It was like faith. I had to keep looking for signs, like you're going in the right direction. Because let me tell you, it wasn't like going to law school. It was like directives, like here, do this, this, and this. It was like you had to start exercising a faith muscle. And that's what I did. And I came into the online space like 2020 is when I decided I no longer wanted to practice law. January. The timing was actually, I really feel like when you do this work, you start getting divinely guided. When you start listening to that inner voice of what's coming to you, the signs are all there if we just can tap into it, right? But when you're in survival state, you can't see it. And I said, I'm going all in on my online business. I'm going to do this thing, And when I started it, I started shifting my mindset. I realized that I had a lot of lack and scarcity still from the unhealed trauma. That's where most people, money issues come up, is because they don't realize that they are in a survival state with money. And I discovered the 3 core wounds, like betrayal, abandonment, and unworthiness. And I started seeing my patterns with money and also women's patterns. I mean, I made $10,000 one month and the next it was 50 and then it was 75 and then it was 100. Like I was quantum leaping at a rapid rate. And I'm like, I'm really onto something here that I need to teach this now. Right. And so I started an online business where I was doing one-on-one coaching. And then I went and had a mastermind. I eventually quickened up after a year and realized, okay, I don't want to do this one-on-one anymore. I need to scale to my group programs. And that's where I was working less and making more. I was no longer exchanging time for money. And in June of 2020, I said, a year from now, I'm going to be a millionaire. Well, sure enough, $1 million's crossed my Stripe account. And all I've been doing is collapsing the time of making that money faster and faster. My kids and I were in like Italy on a yacht in the Amalfi Coast. Like we fly first class. I bought a G-Wagon cash. I mean, there's so many things that money can do. And my podcast is called Unapologetically Rich because I think people bring their limited money mindset in and it brings down their wealth consciousness. Like I can look at someone's business and see which one of the core wounds. Is it abandonment, betrayal, and unworthiness? Which one is actually dictating by their cash flow? I've helped 346 women break their ceilings and have their highest cash months because people don't really understand the limits that they're living in. So that's how I went from lawyer. I did a lot of inner work, a lot of healing inner work. And now I teach it. I feel like a lot of us don't have a regulated nervous system. I didn't because of the trauma. So when you have a dysregulated nervous system, even though you say you want to be a millionaire, even though you say you want more money, if your nervous system's dysregulated and your neural pathways are wired for fight and flight, you can make the money, but you won't keep it. You'll create money leaks inside your business. Like all of a sudden there'll be a lawsuit or there'll be an expense or something will come up and you're like, where the hell's the money going? And when I saw that I could heal my relationship with the masculine and feel safe, this is especially for the women out there, and realize that I can start tapping into that feminine energy, I was receiving money and clients were coming out of nowhere. It was amazing. And I was living a very, I guess they call it right now, the thing is a soft girl millionaire, but that's really what it is right now is like, we don't need to be in suffering to make money. We don't need to be in the hustle culture. In fact, if you're in survival state, you're not creating wealth. You're just making money, and money does not change your wealth consciousness. It's you. You have to change your identity to do it.
Wow. How do you shift from that survival mindset into just tuning into the frequency? Because I truly believe it is a frequency.
Totally.
And when you can tap into that, like you said, the signs start becoming clear. And the more you listen to it, the stronger that connection gets. And it's almost the path. It truly does illuminate if you follow it.
Totally.
And it's a lot of trial and error on that as well. So when it comes to the mindset portion of it and making that shift from survival to an abundance mindset, I guess we could say.
What I did was I had to literally go from a lack mindset to a prosperity and abundance mindset. That's the first step is like, what are your belief systems around money? I would write down every single one of them. And like, if you believe that you only can get the purple lollipop or the orange lollipop, that's already a limit that you have right there. You're putting on subconsciously into yourself. But if you believe you can have both, you have an expansive mindset. So I'd literally write down all of the limits or all the beliefs that you have around money and see which ones are really yours, or did society tell you them, or did your parents give them to you, or do you really want to believe them? Like I see people saying, well, that's impossible. You know, when you have these core wounds, you undercharge. So this is when unworthiness comes in. You over deliver in your offers. And so you're giving everything plus a kitchen sink. So you don't actually have an ascension system in your business. And if you feel like you have an abandonment wound, you might make money one month, but the next month it'll be gone, or you don't actually have a team supporting you because you don't feel like they can be loyal enough to stay because everybody leaves. And that's the core belief. So I would first start with, what do you believe? And then let's see, are you in a survival state of fight or flight? And then let's see how we can shift those belief systems. Journaling, it was one of the greatest things. And I have a great journaling program and method because I was so freaking stubborn. My mom told me I could waste money. So I had that belief. I mean, don't spend money on organic berries because that's a waste of money. Don't do this. Like, maybe you were told don't get a first class ticket because coach is cheaper, but I like to fly first class now. I want to feel the luxury. I want to feel into the money that I create. And because I use money as a connector to my desires, I never feel like it's not there for me.
And when you, for me at least, when I put myself in those positions and do the bougie things, right? Get the nice bag, get the nice car. It's almost a sense of you lean into it more and more. It's a momentum pull. You know, the more you do it, the more it comes, almost in a sense of manifesting, right? Do you find that too?
Well, I feel like when you feed the frequency, it keeps going. But if you are in worrisome and lack and like, where's the money coming from? I feel guilt and shame for buying this purse. You stop the brakes of what that frequency could be for you. Like people told me like, you're stupid for paying, you know, or spending $300,000 and paying for your G-Wagon. And I said, no, the whole purpose of that was that not that I just could do it, but every time I get into that car, I feel wealthy and I own it. It's not that something like I leased it and pretending to show the internet it was for me. Like that frequency was for me to align. Anything that makes you feel elevated, you have to tap into it more. And so flying first class makes me feel wealthy. It makes me trust to know that money will always be there for me. And it's really a place of like a risk tolerance of being able to invest the money, spend it, use it, and know that you will bring in more. But when people clutch onto it and hold on to it, you actually aren't in the expansive state of it. So I said the worst kind of broke is having money and not being able to spend it, you know, or invest it. Like say you want to, you know, join a program or hire somebody and you sit there clutching the money because you're afraid if you're going to get an ROI, but you are not actually in a state where that money can even expand for you because you already have a limitation. You're only looking to get your money back as opposed to what the compound effect of this expansiveness of what this investment can be like. That's going from like a one-to-one, like very limited mindset to a value-based receivership. So that's where you have to shift your mindset in. Like I joined a program once, I think invested $30,000. I had one mindset shift. It was all worth it just for that one. So it's like, how do you value things in your life, you know, like that could take you to that next level? If you're looking to this, that, and finding things on sale. That's how I was raised. If it had a red tag, we were buying it, you know? And I bought things that had red tags I didn't even use, like squeeze the toothpaste out, put the water in the shampoo bottle, sit there and be painful about like, should I get the guac? Like, do I want an appetizer? Like people don't get appetizers when they go out to eat because they don't want to cost the cost of it. And they just drink water and they don't want to drink or whatever it is. Yeah. But it's like that limit, you know, where's your limits? Find them. That's the first thing that I would do.
Find them and address them.
Yeah. Find your money triggers. I'd carry a money trigger journal. What are your money triggers when you're going to spend money or use money? What triggers you the most? Because one of those core wounds will come up.
And do you find that it's often related back to our childhood and how we were raised?
Most of it. Yeah. Most of it. Well, I always know a woman who's really good with money because she has a good relationship with her father. Because she felt safe. The reason why I think a lot of people don't grow their wealth and they have a good relationship with money is because they are using it to feel a sense of safety they don't have right now in their nervous system. So they're needing money in the bank account to feel safe. They're needing to make money to feel safe. Because if you look at it, I believe money is masculine for us and the way we receive it's feminine. Money is here to provide, protect, take care of, keep you safe. You need a roof over your head. You need money for food. You need the lights. If you don't have it, you're not going to survive in a sense, right? But really you could, but in your mind, it's really hard. So if you look at it from that standpoint, and let's say for the women or men who are not even tapped into that emotional state of who they are, you're repelling money because you're chasing. You got to have polarity with the energies, right? So if you're constantly in your masculine energy, you're just hustling, but you're pushing money away as opposed to trusting that it will come in. So when you start tapping into that feminine and really, which means working on your emotions, healing your trauma, feeling into your higher self, listening, feel people, and know, trust, and just be able in the state of like everything's going to work out instead of worrying that it will. Money will come because you're taken care of, right? It's a hard balance to find the two, but when you start doing it, it becomes your normal state of being.
Right. Okay. So this is juicy because I'm interested in the energy conversation.
Yeah.
When we look at masculine and feminine energy, are you saying men and women both harness masculine and feminine energy? Okay.
Absolutely. Like even my guy friends who are making gazillions of dollars, they'll tell you, as soon as I get an idea, I just go do it. They don't sit there and go into the complicated overthinking state. That's their feminine, their creativity. They don't even know how it's going to work out, but they just go take action on it. So they get the idea, that's the feminine dropping in, right, from their higher self. And then they go drop. The guys who are struggling to make money will get the idea, maybe, even if they're not even open to receiving the idea, but they'll go, oh yeah, what do I have to do now? Who have to hire? And they complicate the shit out of everything. And so that's why they're not probably making money, because they're not allowing themselves to receive the downloads or connect. So how do you do that? That's downtime. It's not always doing. Like if you're, the saying be, do, have, that's what it comes from. You need to be in that energy, be in that stillness, then go do. So your be is the downloads, then go do the activity, and then you will have. For many of us, and including myself, I would do, then I would have the thing, and then I will be happy. Then I'll be successful. So we all got it backwards in a long time. And so that's where I believe that's where that, teaching comes from.
Right.
So men who have tuned into this, they know to have a team, to be supported, to be taken care of. They are emotionally intelligent more than other men. They're able to express their emotions. They're connected to a higher power inside of themselves, that knowing, that calling, that trust, their intuition. Everybody's intuitive. But if you ask people if they actually listen to it, chances are they don't all the time.
I think it can get easily clouded. I mean, your gut will tell you something and then your mind will overcomplicate it.
It's your nervous system. It'll go right into that protective state. Danger, danger, danger. Don't do this, because remember last time that we let our guard down, we got hurt. And so this is why so many people have a shield on their heart. Like I can even look at how people use their emojis. If they only like a post or if they just like a message and they don't lose love. These people have guarded hearts that it feels unsafe. I'll give men a pass because most men just like things, but you'll see when they love things, it's an expression of it's safe for me to show you how I feel. But most people are so guarded, they don't. And it actually affects the frequency and the flow of money coming to them because you're in a survival state if your heart's not open. If you haven't healed that traumatic state that puts your nervous system to, you're in survival state. You're not into abundance. So you have to do everything possible to eliminate all of that could be becoming a resistance. And I created a program for that. And when people go through it, they're like, oh my gosh, I live better now. I don't worry anymore. And it's like, I call it emotional mastery. People call it different things, but I figured once you master your emotions, someone cutting you off on the road is not going to trigger you to a point where you're mad all day. When someone says something, you don't take it personal. A lot of women have resentment because they're too busy being masculine and controlling everything, doing everything. They're like, no one's helping me. Well, you're micromanaging and controlling everything. Well, who has a chance? Did you ask anybody for help? No. And it's like, then they're like, oh gosh, yes. Then money leaks show up for them because they have money, resentment's a money leak. Being a professional is a money leak. All of these show up. And so we want money to come in for you because you have such the capacity to do it, grow it, compound it, feel safe with it, make more of it.
Wow. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I'm taking notes too. That's amazing. Okay, so tell us about your program.
Oh, well, it's called Accessing the Quantum Through Emotional Self-Mastery. My brand is called The Quantum Woman. Okay. I believe the quantum woman lives in all of us. And, I have a book called Unlocking the Quantum Woman. And if you go look at my reviews on Amazon, the last 10 were for men. And we've had so many men. Wow. They're like, it should be Unlocking the Quantum Person because it can apply to anybody. But I just picked it for women because if you're smart, you're going to niche down. Anyway, I believe the quantum woman is in all of us where we get to unlock this next level of ourself that's emotionally mastered, that is balanced in our feminine and our masculine, that is allowing us to have the most amount of wealth, to be unapologetically rich. I have a program called the Millionaire Club, and anybody can come into this program. It's a 6-month program with me where I elevate and I take your mindset and your nervous system to regulation so that you can be balanced in your emotions. And It is a game changer for people in their business starting there. And then I have another program called the Wealthy CEO. If you want to create high ticket, a lot of people don't create high ticket because they have a limited mindset around money. And I sell high ticket all day long, and I can create a high ticket in anybody's business. As long as you are able to shift into the valuation, you can find a value of what to create and sell. And then backing it with a personal brand, creating a podcast. My podcast, Unapologetically Rich, we just had 3 women just recently message us saying they read my book, listened to my podcast, and had their highest cash month at 50K months. And they're not in my programs, but they were just listening and applying what I was teaching. I mean, you just don't know what limits are there. Your subconscious mind is run by your emotions. And if your emotions aren't attuned to the highest level and the most badass, powerful version of you, then you are not going to be operating at your highest level. You're going to be here at mid-grade, and you're always going to feel like, I should be doing more. I'm so much more powerful. I know I had this conversation with myself at one point where it's like, I know I should be more powerful. I have this much left in the tank. Why am I not showing up? I needed to become so unstoppable, and I didn't want to be the reason why I was not successful or putting myself out there to make the impact that I want to make and change lives. You know what I mean?
So often we stand in our own way.
Yeah, we are.
I mean,
like
always.
You master emotions,
us.
self-sabotage, and all of those like imposter syndromes, the things that keep people stuck in that freeze trauma response will go away because you're like, oh, I am so powerful. Like the thing that when women go through my programs, yes, I've helped 51 women become millionaires and multimillionaires, but the greatest thing is to watch a woman stand in her power, and she is unstoppable. She's not worried about, I'm going to go make a video. I'm going to do a podcast. I'm going to show up and be seen. The hardest thing for most powerful women is to be fully seen in their power. You know, they're too busy in that masculine and emasculating their husbands. I mean, y'all want a little more sex, you got to stop being so masculine. You know, this is the thing, quantum babies get in our group too, because when they start doing the work, these women like fall back into their feminine, and all of a sudden, like, we're like kids now. Like my husband, I got to get him off of me. Like he's just, because you are exuding that feminine, like people can feel that frequency. And I'm telling you, ladies, that is so much more powerful than being an A-type. It's like, people are opening the doors from you. Opportunities are coming. Men are just, they don't even know why. They're sniffing that feminine. You deserve to be protected and provided for. Men want to take care of us, and you get to be a millionaire and have someone take care of you. Like you get to have all.
Yeah. It's not one or the other.
No, it's not one or the other. And it took me a long time to put that all together, because I was a lawyer wearing pointy shoes, pinstripe suits, going into the courtroom like, you better not mess with me, you know? And I had to really rewire that belief system of getting out of the control. Like I don't wake up at 5 a.m. I have soft girl mornings. Like I power to all the women that do wake up at 5. I'm sure they're productive in what they're doing. But I found that if I can create the life that I wake up every day loving, then I feel like I will feel happy about it, because every day I take it, each and every single day I take it as a new day. I get to create a life and a frequency that I want to be in. And my biggest wealth is my children, like watching them being so emotionally mastered. They're going to marry their high school sweethearts. And it's incredible because most people have to go through a couple of people before they figure out who their ideal person is. But my kids grew up with that. My son is so masculine. He takes care of his girlfriend. And that's my wealth, is breaking generational trauma and creating generational wealth inside of them, with showing them like what's possible, you know?
I love that. I love that. That is the perfect segue, because I want to talk through the balance of being a parent and building businesses like this. Because it's, you know, something's got to give somewhere, but it's a matter of doing the dance in a way that aligns with your priorities, right? And it sounds like you have just the most amazing family. Your kids are thriving. They're grown. Talk to me about what that was like the last few years, helping them come into themselves as you built this.
Teenage years, like when they're younger toddlers, they need a lot from you. And teenage years, they need a lot from you, because they need to get steered in the right direction. They're hyper independent, but they also need attention. There was a point when my daughter was going through a bit of a depression while she was in school. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be healing all of these women and my child at home. So all hands on deck to figure out what's going on. And I talk to my kids every single day, and I make sure that I'm a place that's a safe place they can come and communicate to. And I will be the first person they call for anything. Being able to communicate with your children requires you to become a woman who is open to that communication. So that means a heart. Like they need to know that their emotions are safe with you. Men want to know that their emotions, that's all a man wants, really. Can he be emotional with a woman and feel safe? So you have to become that woman to your man and to your children as well. So you're a safe place for them to land, which means you do your inner work. But also, I mean, I feel like kids have to make their own mistakes. And I feel like we have to guide them in that direction. So I tried not to micromanage and worry about my kids. They're so hyper independent right now. I'm like, wow, they need me eventually, at some point again in my life. However, I feel like the strongest thing that I could have taught my children is that they have a voice and use it, and don't be afraid to speak up. And my daughter knows exactly what she wants at this age, and she's not afraid to go out there and tell the world about it. She's not afraid to ask for what she wants. She's not afraid to send that damn fish back. She's not afraid to change her seat at the restaurant. And you know how many grown-ass women that I work with that do not speak up like that? They are people pleasers, and that's not a money leak. People pleasing, doing things just because you're afraid of the friction. I told my child, I go, don't ever be afraid of your strength and your power. I mean, everybody who's like, a person who's liked by everybody doesn't stand for something. So stand for something. Show your kids what you're doing. Go to the gym, do your self-development, because kids don't listen to us. They watch us. How are you spending your money? Are you complaining about money in front of them? What education are you putting in? Are you getting them involved in the financial literacy of your life, like teaching them about mortgages? My son is trading stocks right now. I taught him about this. And so now he's like, Mom, I need more money for this. They're both employees of my business. If you don't know how to use that hack, you should probably get your kids on there. But they do work. But I showed them, I took that money and we took it and we invested it. And so there's no early to time for this. It's never too early to get your kids involved. Even if they're little, piggy bank. My daughter, she works for her money. If she wants to go to Shein and spend $150, we sit there and negotiate. And I'm like, what do you want to do at home? She wanted to go Kendrick Lamar on Friday. I'm like, all right. I give her everything, but I was like, I made her work for this. So she did a bunch of things around the house. We worked it out and she got her tickets to sit on the floor to go see Kendrick Lamar.
Let's go.
So, there's a way of, and then she also flies first class. It does everything. I take them on trips, but I also give them the opportunity to know what their worth and value is and never undercharge themselves. Because if you teach them at a young age to value themselves, unworthiness was my biggest wound. And so I had to prove my existence and my worth for everything. But if you can tell your children until they're 25 how worthy they are, they will never, ever worry about that. People who are well loved go do extraordinary things. So make sure that you have time to be present in your children's life. That's the most important thing I would tell them.
Mm-hmm. Lead with love. Those things you're talking about, they're not teaching that in school. They're not teaching kids how to invest, how to even do the inner work.
No.
That's so valuable.
No.
My son is turning 7 next week, and we did a lemonade stand, and we took the money he made in the lemonade stand and we went and looked at stocks on Greenlight. If you haven't heard of it, look up Greenlight, because it's this app where you can teach them about money. It's where you can pay them, etc. And he ended up choosing McDonald's stock for obvious reasons. He loves McDonald's, but it's just about instilling it from the get, teaching them the things that they don't necessarily learn in school. It'll make such a huge impact.
Can I make a suggestion?
Please. Yes. Tell me.
Let him take like 10% of that and go blow it on whatever he wanted to do. So he knows that he can enjoy his wealth, that he doesn't have to save it to have money, but he can appreciate it, love it. Like I think a lot of people don't celebrate. That's a big thing with women. They don't celebrate. He gets to celebrate that he made that money. It doesn't have to justify where that money's going. Doesn't, because it earned. Let him go use it and then feel that frequency, because that desire to fulfill, like when you fulfill a desire, you will create way more wealth. But if you're just making money to save it, to feel safe, or to do the right thing with it, then you actually defeat the whole purpose of what wealth consciousness is. So I say all of you should be taking 10% of your monthly income and going doing whatever the hell you want with it. Buy some Louboutins, buy whatever it is that you want, that nobody can tell you what to do, because it's your money and you get to do the thing that you want with it. It's such a great thing to instill, because you'll see your inner teachings or what you were taught. This is a waste of money. I shouldn't be doing this. This feels so irresponsible. But in fact, it's going to be the thing that activates you to have more wealth consciousness, because you'll be like, more's coming. I have a saying in my business, more is coming. I always say, if I can allow myself to believe that there's more, they're printing money right now. So if you can allow yourself to get into that frequency of more is coming, more will come. And I always say, if she can, I can. So if you see someone being successful, don't be a bitter bitch. Go out there and be like, you know what? She can do it. I can do it too. She can have it. I can do it. I just find people who are doing elevated things than I am, and it expands where I can go, and you know, what kind of mother, woman, mentor, and impactful person I can be in the world.
Okay, so I'm gonna go from here. I'm gonna go buy some Louboutins.
I just bought my daughter some. Go get them. No, seriously, because they're going to elevate you. Go do it. Yes. Yeah. Go get the Louboutins. And you need to text me and show me what they look like. I want to be a part of that whole experience. Tag me on Instagram, because if you deprive yourself of the things that truly are on your soul, nobody needs to know why. That's a desire. Don't get it confused with a goal. Those desires will make you so much more wealth and create so much wealth in your life when you feed them. The universe is like, give it to me. And then your frequency will be, I always get what I want. I always get what I want. And guess what? More will come to you. I mean, that's what it is. And for me, it's a no-brainer. Feed it.
I am blown away. I love this conversation. I appreciate you coming on the show. I hope this was so valuable for you guys. I know it was for me. So I appreciate you, Shamina.
Oh my gosh, I love being here. Go ahead and check out my book, Unlocking the Quantum Woman, and come check out our podcast, Unapologetically Rich, and check out my YouTube right now. It's popping. So go find there. It really is. And I have a free gift for you guys. All you have to do is just DM me, Entrepreneur Circle, and I have a free money class for you for cash. It's called the Instant Cash Flow Method. And I'll give it to you just because you guys are listening to this podcast. And so come ahead and find me on Instagram at Shamina Taylor.
Oh my gosh. So much value. Thank you,
Okay.
Shamina.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it, guys. See you next time.
Remember this as you go about your day today. The ideas that are on your heart for a reason. Do not ignore them. Tune into them. Tap in, lean in, understand them, and pursue them. If not you, then who? If this episode was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, subscribe. It does wonders for our efforts, and it helps us to continue our mission of inspiring entrepreneurs and giving them the resources and the perspective we all need to take it to the next level. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Paresa Noble, and we'll catch you next time.